Inside the Arena is presented by Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, Seattle's closest sportsbook.
Welcome to Inside the Arena, your source for everything off the ice, off the court, and outside the field of play. With your hosts, KOMO Sports Director Niko and KOMO Senior Reporter Chris Daniels.
Happy New Year. Happy last week of the year, depending on when you're listening.
Well, I'm in the full suit because it's the new year. We're going to start it right.
Yes. I mean, by the time people are hearing this, it's either 2026 or 2025.
Yeah, it just depends. But, we're all getting ready for a new year. Hopefully a better year. Even if 2025 was good for you, hopefully it's better.
Yeah, we're going to be talking in just a second about all the things that may happen in 2026. We also have this kind of exclusive unearthed interview with Spencer Haywood, the Hall of Famer, the Sonic legend. Talked to him back in July down in Las Vegas. He's been on the show before, but talked to him back in July down in Las Vegas for the NBA Board of Governors meeting. And he tells his whole life story. For people who have not heard it before, you're going to hear his discussion coming up a little bit later on in this special edition of Inside the Arena.
Yeah, how about that? And it's just that time of year we can reflect, but also look forward too.
Yes, and you're going to hear him doing both coming up. Should we do the four corners, but in a little different way? I mean, we like to touch them all, right? But it's the end of the year. You know, what's good, what's bad, off the ice, off the court, off the field of play. It's normally topical.
Right.
We're normally talking about what's happened in that last week, but here we're kind of looking ahead to 2026, right?
Yeah, so let's start positive. I'm gonna give you two hot takes.
Ooh,
because
hot takes.
I can't pick one positive.
Oh, okay. You're gonna round first twice.
The Mariners are making the World Series.
Wow.
And I can get roasted on this a year from now. That's fine. I believe. I like what they have cooking. They took care of business. Josh Nauer, big trade for Ferrer in the bullpen. The offseason is ongoing. Couple months till spring training. They're going to do it. The time is now. Now or never. You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
I'm not looking at you like as long as the pitching stays healthy and Naylor delivers, I think, in the capacity he delivered in a short amount of time. I'm hard-pressed to think of another athlete who has caught the attention of the fan base and people in the booth. What he did in a short amount of time, it was a big signing to get him locked up early.
That's just it. How quickly it happened, how quickly he was embraced, made that. And they're winning this offseason in that way. So I have faith. I'm going to call the hot take. Here's my other hot take, my other positive heading into 2026. A couple episodes ago, we played Adam Silver talking about they'll make a determination on expansion in 2026. I'm going to say that'll be finally the one we've been waiting for. No more kicking the can down the road. As great as the reasons have been from the NBA perspective in that way, that'll be the final determination. And that's going to set off and making 2026, when you consider everything else that's going on that you're going to talk about as well, one of the most epic sports years ever. Well, especially if my other positive comes through. If you had that, the announcement of the Sonics, plus what you're going to, I mean, can you imagine?
And whatever the Seahawks may do in the playoffs.
Oh, my God.
You're going to be a busy man.
I like it. I'd rather be busy than not.
Yeah. Well, you're optimistic about 2026 and the NBA story.
Gotta be.
I'm a little bit more skeptical, but we'll see.
I'm just calling the shot that we're going to know for sure. But you're right. The optimism I'm saying, that means it's going to be a good thing, but it could mean the other thing.
Well, you just rounded first, went back to first. There was a rundown. Then you went back to try to go second. And you went back to first.
Is this like Josh Nauer jumping in front of that ball in Game 7, getting hit in the back when they threw it to first?
So the positive, and I think I've shown this on the show and on the air on KOMO TV as well, is one of the biggest events that's ever happened in Seattle is coming to Seattle. That's the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup. We now know the games that will be played, the teams that will be involved. It's going to be just an amazing event, not only because of what's happening in Seattle, but up the road in Vancouver. You are going to have an international feel like you have not seen in this city since the World's Fair in 1962 down across the street there at Seattle Center. And the amount of attention on Seattle, it is going to be a Chamber of Commerce video with every game, the amount of the millions and billions of people that are going to be watching each one of those matches. You have the U.S. team playing Australia on Juneteenth. You have potentially the U.S. team playing on July 6th as well in the round of 16. And we have a fan fest every day for a month. We have One of the international teams will be coming here to Seattle, which means another couple of weeks before the tournament, you're going to see an international feel. I think it's going to be something we have not seen, Niko, in our lifetimes here in Seattle, and just what it's going to mean for that area around Pioneer Square. I am looking forward to covering this on multiple levels because I think it's going to be something that is going to be unique to this region.
Well, that you hit the nail on the head. It's the soccer. It's everybody. The fans remember that's special. But then you talk about the lasting impacts, everything around it. Like the only comparable, correct me if you think I'm wrong in this, would be when the World's Fair came.
Yeah,
62. You know what I'm saying?
And people have asked about the Olympics.
Right.
It's like having the Olympics, except it's a longer tournament.
Right. We're talking about basically almost a month of straight soccer, and obviously festivities start before that and continue a little bit after. But this is going to be, like you said, so incredible. Just like you said, an honor to be a part of even covering it in a small way.
Well, what are you not looking forward to, or as you head down to third base? You do have to stop at third, but you're a positive guy.
Yeah, but you know what? It's the thing I have most often lamented on the show. It's the continued deterioration of college sports. Now, let me be clear off the top, as I try to say every time I preface this. NIL is a good thing. These players deserve to be paid. Obviously, that is not what we're talking about. What I'm talking about is this idea that everything around is like, there's a story recently about a young man who's going to be at his 7th school in 7 years. That you're talking about how there's a handful of schools that are just being further and further away from everybody else. There needs to be some kind of governing body. Oh, wait, the NCAA is there. Sorry, but they need to be actually doing something. And every year, you talk to a Cougar fan.
Yes.
Like every year, it's just like, oh God, what else can happen to us? And it's just, I lament it all the time. I could go down the list for an entire half-hour show. I won't. But anybody listening, it's just not the same as it was 2 years ago. It's not the same that it was certainly 5 years ago. And not that change is bad. Change is a good thing. Like I said, NIL is a good thing in the surface. There just needs to be regulation between the Big Ten and SEC just trying to leave everybody behind and make the playoffs all about them. And Notre Dame join a conference instead of complaining about it. Like there's just all these different things that need some oversight to bring college football back to what people loved about it, loved rooting on their alma mater. We don't need NFL light. We've got the NFL going on at the same time. We need college football.
Yes, I wish it was the way it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
With players getting paid or having the ability to get paid. But the fact there's free agency every year,
right? Not
only with the players, but the coaches. It doesn't matter if somebody's got a huge buyout. We see how these coaches move around. Jimmy Rogers at Washington State leaving after 11 months. And the impact for a community like Pullman, which has seen the small businesses with decreased revenue because fewer people are coming to town for games. There is that impact as well.
There was a way to implement NIL without having this become the Wild West.
Yeah.
There was, and we maybe we're too far gone. I hope not. There's the legislation that came down helped, but it's not there yet. Yeah.
Well, I'll try and bring it into home a little bit delicately here.
Sure.
I think you and I are both fans of a lot of the people behind the scenes at the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah.
An organization that I think has been more philanthropically centered than other franchises. In terms of the One Roof Foundation and a lot of the good things that they are doing away from the arena and off the ice. Mari Harita has been on this show. Samantha Holloway has been on this show. Todd Lewicki has been on this show. Multiple members of the Kraken front office. I think of Patrick Brown, who worked at Root, now works for the Kraken Hockey
Network. The Alaska Connection, yeah.
He has been on this show, the Alaska Connection. So many good things that are happening with the Kraken. Unfortunately, they cannot get it together on the ice, and it looks like they're going to drift into a 5th season here, which has been a key season for the Kraken, where they're not going to make the playoffs. Losing so many games in a row, they're drifting out of playoff contention after the great start, and that impacts people off the ice. I think people tend to forget the kind of the relationship between on and off the ice when more people are excited about going to the games. They want to re-up their season tickets.
Yeah.
And the season ticket retention, this is a key year for the Kraken. A lot of people signed up with 3, 5, and 7 year commitments. There's some concern they're going to see some drop-off, some flaking off of the season ticket renewals because the team continues to struggle on the ice. And I think it's frustrating knowing so many people away from the ice and how great of a job that they are doing and they continue to do in the community.
That's a big part of it. It makes me sad because of everything you said, the connections we have and great people. They're doing amazing things in the community, and it's nonstop. It's like, they recognize different cultures and festivals with the jerseys they do, and they auction them off for one roof. Like, that's just scratching the surface. They go to local schools, and these kids, elementary school kids, are seeing, Jamie Alexiak. Like, what a thrill. And I mean, all teams do that, but it's just sad because when they made the playoffs in 23, and you were there with me, it was unbelievable. And it's not that hard to get back there per se. I say that from a podcast studio, not in Lane Lambert's chair, right? But it's like, we saw what this can be. And, they've done on paper some smart things, right? Like things that should work out. It's just for whatever reason not working out. And it just makes me sad because there is that potential. And that said, even if it continues to drift, you don't want to let it go too far. But like the second the winning comes back, this town craves the Kraken.
And they
love it.
The game day presentation over there is amazing. And I say that even though I haven't been in the show open since season 1.
That was actually cool. I love that.
They're filming movies for the pregame show, and Jerry Bruckheimer's clearly got his finger on the pulse of some of the production, the game day production. They do a fantastic job. So many things that the Kraken are doing well. It seems like they're hitting it out of the arena, to mix metaphors.
Hell yeah.
With the exception of the on ice.
I was just going to say, they literally do everything great except for what the results we've seen in 2024, 2025, and probably this year. Hopefully they can turn it around, but that's just it. And it makes you sad because, again, they are organizationally doing a lot of great things, especially front office, behind the scenes, especially in that regard. So let's hope they can turn it around and really realize that untapped potential.
And producer Bill is over here wearing a Kraken hat.
He is.
One of these days, we're going to get him on camera. Maybe for episode 100.
What was it, like Home Improvement? The neighbor, you only saw his eyes. We just do that with Bill.
Well, a lot of stuff to look forward to. We're going to look into the past a little bit here on 2025. Spencer Haywood, the Hall of Famer, he's been doing a lot of NIL work too as well, in terms of testifying in front of Congress and trying to change the laws. And he wants to remind people of, he had the landmark case at the Supreme Court. He is the guy that really opened the door for what we're seeing now by challenging the rules in basketball, challenging the NBA. He's had one heck of a story. And coming up after the break, you're going to hear a conversation from July. And I want to preface this, before the death of Lenny Wilkens and before the announcement from the Board of Governors about what they were going to do with the Sonics. So I want to preface that, but you're going to hear Spencer tell his entire life story coming up after the break.
Looking for the ultimate game day spot? Head up to Hawks Peak Sports Bar and Grill at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. The place to be for game days. With over 60 TVs, you won't miss a single play, no matter where you sit. Grab your crew, your favorite bites, and your go-to drink, and catch every touchdown, dunk, or goal in style. Hawks Peak Sports Bar and Grill, where every seat is the best seat in the house. Learn more at snowcasino.com.
You remember, you got all time, be good.
You're good on time.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Seattle, come on, man.
What's this event all about?
This event is, we have it every year here in Vegas. We get together and have all of the retired NBA players and some current drop in to meet and greet and hang out. And we have an event usually over at Top Golf where dinner and some other things are being served, and it's just a get together to see each other and hug each other and say we made it another year.
And there's a lot of former Sonics in the room.
Well, Sonics are always in the room because we are the mecca of all of this stuff. By that I mean, without the Sonics and without my case, Haywood versus the NBA in 1970 to 1971, March 1st, we would be stuck at 14 teams, I think, or 15 teams, and the ABA would be the dominant teams because they were bringing in young guys once I broke the rule over there. And then I had to come to the NBA and break the 4-year rule here. So the Sonics gave the NBA at least 15 more teams. By that I mean when I went to the U.S. Supreme Court, you could only come to the NBA after 4 years after your high school class had graduated, or 4 years in college. And I was breaking that rule. And therefore, we had a large pool of players who were waiting for that rule to be broken so they can come in as freshmen, some out of high school, some like Jordan, 3 years in, Magic, 2 years in, Bird, and so on.
The current NBA doesn't exist
Right.
unless you did what you did.
Unless I did what I did in Seattle with Sam Schulman and Lenny Wilkins. Lenny Wilkins was with me all the way through it, because at times, they were playing hardball with me. They would throw me out into the snow at certain games. Most of the games, I was being branded as an illegal player, and I was just signing a couple of cards downstairs, and I had my jersey on, and it was backwards. It couldn't say Sonics on it, because I was not a member of the NBA, nor was I a member of the Players Association. So I was just an illegal player until I won the case.
Different time.
Different time, different world.
How much did Seattle help you in terms of your growth as a person, growth as a basketball player?
It's my home still in my mind, even though I don't live there. But my family, when I came up to Seattle, I brought my sisters, 2 of my sisters there. 3 of my brothers came to Seattle to live, and still live in Seattle. My family is there in Seattle. Grandkids, nieces, nephews, they all live in Seattle. So it was an opportunity to live in a peaceful place, because I was brought up in Mississippi as a young guy, and it was terribly racist, and it was just not a good place to live. But it taught me about faith, because my mother believed that if you follow the guidelines of the Bible or religion, you will be all right, and God will remove you from this situation. So in my sophomore year, Will Robinson spotted me and said, I want this guy to come up north to save the city of Detroit, because at this time, the city of Detroit hadn't won a Class A state championship in 35 years. So I was that conduit. So we did win the Class A state championship, and that's when, long before LeBron James, but that's when they started saying, this guy is the chosen one, And so the following year, I ended up at a junior college for 1 year, and we had the '68 Olympics coming up. And with the '68 Olympics coming up, Kareem, Boycott, Elvin Hayes, Wes Unseld signed their pro contract, because you couldn't go as an amateur. You had to come as an amateur, y'all. Hello. So it's a number of players who just decided to not go, because we had that year, we had the murder of Martin Luther King, we had the murder of Robert F. Kennedy, and it was just race riots in Michigan, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, all around. So it was a real hard choice for some players, because they had to stand up for the black movement and so on. So here they are looking at me like, we got a guy that can finish off all of these guys and just play that one position. So that's when I was chosen to go to the Olympics. And lo and behold, when they made the decision, after I played in the exhibition games and everything to get on the team, I couldn't get my passport. And it was nowhere to be found. And the Olympic Committee finally got a hold of my mother through Mrs. Alexander grocery store in Mississippi, in Silver City. Ain't no silver, ain't no city. But anyway, they got in touch with her, and she said, oh, baby, I got that boy's birth certificate right here under John 21 in my Bible. So we had to fly to Silver City, take a picture of the Bible, and the date and everything because I was born by a midwife. And so they took it back to the Jackson Daily News took it to the vital statistics. And once we created that passport, that's when I was on my way. So when I got to the Olympic Village, and the word was in the village was always, once I got there and was sitting around and everything. So you can always find Spencer Haywood and George Foreman, because we were the two youngest on the whole Olympic team. We were in the commissary eating. Always stuffing ourselves with food. So we had Tommy Smith and John Carlos was our leaders more than, they did the black glove. They were the guys who we all were looking up to and trying to say, what are we going to do? Well, we got to do something because the blacks won't let us back into America if we don't make a stand. And I was talking, and Charlie Scott and JoJo White, you can't do nothing, man. We got to be cool. This is a terrible time. You are 19 years old. You ought to be glad to be here. And I was like, hey, sure. I'm so happy. And then we had great Jesse Owens walked in the door. The door seemed to creak a little bit when he came in. I was like, whoa, man, Jesse Owens. And he was telling us about the importance of representing America in this endeavor. And John Carlos kind of spoke up a little bit. And we were like, speak, John, speak, John. And John was speaking to him, and Jesse looked around at all of us, and he said, how would you guys feel if you had to run before Hitler? And we were like, hey, man, it's time. Let's lock him up. Let's get ready. That was like the kill switch for us. So then we went out and we won the gold. And I was so happy and so joyful because, it's like 4 years before, I was basically a slave in Silver City picking cotton. So, and then back to that biblical stuff where my mother and the people in Michigan who were like, he's chosen. Yeah, right.
So in like a 4-year span, you had the Olympics and the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And Seattle.
In Seattle, where it all started. And let me tell you a story. When we flew in on Sam's, we were flying into a Boeing field. And so we were flying in, coming into Seattle. And, I'm from Michigan at that time, and we have buildings, auto industry, smokestacks coming out, and here we go flying into Seattle from Denver. And I said to Sam, Sam, it's like we're flying into a postcard. Look how beautiful it is. He said, I tell you, Spencer, you have to believe me when I tell you things. Good impression of Sam.
Yeah. You follow all this with the potential for Seattle to get another NBA team. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I think our chances are very good. Very, very good. Now, the event with Lenny Wilkins putting up the statue 2 weeks ago was a big step for the city and for the movement to come back to Seattle. But I think Adam has been holding his cards close to the vest because, the price keep jumping up because once these billionaires keep buying teams, first it started off with the Celtics right after they won the championship. They sold a team for $6.7 or some $1 billion. Then the Lakers sold their team for 10. So the prices are getting kind of crazy to enter into the NBA team of 32 because you're looking at Las Vegas and Seattle are the two prime markets, and we can do better than a lot of teams in the NBA. I'm not talking out of the 32 teams. We could probably beat out. We could be in the top 5.
In terms of a market?
In terms of the market, in terms of the fans, in terms of the enthusiasm, in terms of what it means for the NBA to replace that team back to its glory. There's a championship team. There's a U.S. Supreme Court ruling. Haywood versus the NBA, which brought in Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, all of these players, LeBron, all of them. They come on the back of Seattle.
Why do you think Seattle still cares after all these years?
Because we love our game. We love our city. This was, you spoke to me earlier about being a young man coming to Seattle, the love that that city embraced upon me. Because when I would come in from the battles, I had Seattle to love me up. The 13 Coins, Boondockers, Sundeckers, and Green Thumb. I had all of that, and that was my refuge. And Seattle is a beautiful city, and it deserves this team back in Seattle, and we will get this team. I'm looking at no more than 3 years. It's moving in that direction.
You told me you never had a chance to see your number again?
No, because what happened was they had this big deal about doing my jersey retirement, and I'm thinking, you know, I had my daughters with me. I have 4 girls, no boys. Anyway, that's another level. What's the word they always said? I can't think of it right now. Anyway, so I was going to bring my kids back, and like, we're going to go to a game. We're going to watch Kevin Durant play. We're going to watch all of these guys play, and we're going to hang out in Seattle. I might even move from Michigan to Seattle again, you know. And then the next thing, by the summer came around, and before the season started, everything was gone to Oklahoma City. Cool.
Everything was gone. Your jersey that was in the
My
rafters?
jersey was gone. Everything was gone. So I do have my golf bag from the retirement. It's a Sonic golf bag. I didn't carry my rocking chair and my other stuff, but Clay Bennett gave me a Rolex watch, so I still have that. But it says Seattle Supersonics. And ironically, that night, we were playing Portland, the Portland Trail Blazers. They were retiring jersey number 24. The point spread between the Sonics and Portland was 24 points. That's why we deserve the team back home.
You want to see your jersey in the rafters?
I want to see the jersey in the rafters, but more so than that, this city, out of all of the teams that are in the NBA, and I'm not talking about the one that was established, because I came there after the 2 expansion teams was Phoenix Suns and the Seattle Supersonics. So after that, I mean, we had Buffalo, we had teams coming in like, oh my God, we got to fill our rosters. We got a chance to fill them, you know? So it's just Seattle gave the league everything that they have now, you know? So it's got to recognize game, got to recognize game here. This ain't no plaything.
I mean, when you reflect
As
on
my mother would say, a fool is thirsty in an abundance of water, boy.
I was just going to say, like, between the jersey and the rafters, you get the Hall of Fame, you get this moment in Seattle. I mean, what?
Well, I didn't go in as anybody else. I went in as the Sonics. Yeah.
I was just going to say, what's, you have this amazing history and background and resume. Like, what stands out the most? You just mentioned the Olympics, basketball,
the
Hall of Fame,
Olympics,
rafters, the
yeah,
Sam Schulman.
My Supreme Court ruling, because it was so harsh and so heavy, and many nights I cried in Lenny Wilkins' arms. That man helped me to survive everything, because the Players Association did not support me, nor did the NBA support me. So all I had was Seattle Sonics and the city of Seattle, and Lenny Wilkins was there always with me, embracing me. You're going to get through it. You're going to be all right.
Of all the things that we've talked about, like, what's been the biggest thing?
The biggest thing was my Supreme Court ruling that came in effect of the Sonics in Seattle. And we had, I don't know the justice that was from the state of Washington at the Supreme Court. He was monumental along with Thurgood Marshall. I think it's Justice O. Douglas from the state of Washington. Maybe that's his name. But that was crucial. And again, you know, people were like, why would you not take on the Lakers or the Knicks or one of the other teams with your jersey and you get sales and everything? I was never about sales for me and never about anything else other than that Sonic logo, and that's just my life.
You said there'd be no LeBron, there'd be none of these other players that were straight out of high school if it wasn't for what you did.
Not only out of high school, but out of college. Because you look at guys like, okay, Jordan got those numbers. He would have lost 1 year of those numbers. LeBron James, he's got 4 years of numbers and legs on his time because of me. Kobe, all of those numbers would change. The whole game, the whole spectrum of basketball would change because a lot of those guys left college early or didn't go to college. So they got 4 extra years on their stats. They got 4 extra years on their legs. That's why you have guys playing a long time now. LeBron is going into his 22nd year.
Yeah.
And I'm going over tonight to watch Bronny, and I'm like looking at the floor, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got 2 generations of players in the same at the same time through Seattle.
Yeah, you were saying on the phone that none of this happens without that time in Seattle, without an owner like the Sonics owner.
Without Sam Schulman, it wouldn't have happened because all of the other owners were against the idea of taking a young player and bringing him into the NBA. The only other owner that stood with me was Jerry Colangelo. Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to say?
Well, we're going to get our team back. That team, there has never been a place where so much love was given out for a team. And the city of Seattle always had their arms open and wrapped around players. So when you talk to players, and like after nowadays, when we was up at Lenny's event, people almost tear up. It's personal. They know that it was a wrong that was done to the Sonics, but now they're just waiting open arms with all forgiveness to everyone that's been involved. Let us have our team back, and that's what's coming.
Can I ask you one more for our friends in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
since you're down here all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Well, since you
I
live
live
here.
here, yeah.
Why do you think Vegas is a good NBA market?
Well, you look at what's going on. I mean, the other night they had it was a zoo, which is in a good sense, you know. The fans are here. We just, we got the Aces. They came here. Just an expansion team. They won in the second year. Somebody else, well, the Raiders, okay.
The Golden Knights.
The Golden Knights won in the second year of an expansion. Yeah, so it's a hot place for a team, but, I live in Vegas, but my heart is in Seattle. I will be indebted to be in Seattle for the rest of my life because it gave me everything I had. I didn't used to eat salmon. No, I didn't. Until I got to Seattle, I was like, fish? Man, if I was fishing, I'm fishing for a catfish down in Mississippi. So all of a sudden we got the market. I can't say about the coffee, but we got the market, all of the fresh seafood, fresh everything.
So there you have it. Spencer Haywood, as he told me prior to that interview, just call him the Wood. He's been a friend of this show and I think a Seattle icon and deserves the recognition that he's received, especially from the Hall of Fame, which came after several years of waiting.
Awesome. Great job.
Yeah. Well, let's maybe turn the calendar page.
Yeah, there's only one man who can do that, right, David Lee?
You've been listening to Inside the Arena with Niko and Chris. Please subscribe on your favorite platform. Until next time.
Inside the Arena was presented by Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, Seattle's closest sports book. Closest sports book.